my Dream Warriors. I'm Tina Santoro, author of the Yonan Bo Saga, a multi-generational saga where dreams rewrite the past and gods are born from trauma. I've been inspired by the sporting event that is currently consuming the world's attention, the FIFA World Cup. While I'm personally excited to see the first halftime show ever, I thought this would be a great time to properly introduce you to the week of games, witnessed in Book 1 when the walls crumbled down. Also, showing you the real world inspiration behind these competitions. The week of games was a new tradition established by the head ruler Roderhar, following the All Hunts Day feast to honor Mother Goddess Peace. The games featured in the Yonan Bo Saga serve as a cultural touchstone that highlights the values, superstitions, and social structure of the world and the characters that inhabit it. While they draw inspiration from familiar archetypes of folklore and historical traditions, they are uniquely integrated into the saga's narrative to emphasize character development, divine devotion, and social rituals. Yonan Bo mentions several specific competitions during the week of games and identifies which ones he and Kinolo entered into. First up, the sword challenge. Challengers are blindfolded and were spun around 3 times and tasked with cutting dirt-filled bags into 2. The goal was to cut as many bags as possible with a time limit set by a water clock. The event tests balance, orientation, and precision under pressure, focusing on competitors to rely on core stability and memory after being disoriented. It reflects on a culture that values overcoming physical limitations within the set time. Yonan Bo managed to cut 10 bags, while his brother Kinolo took second place and cut down 20 bags. This evolutionary world building competition mirrors the transition of swords itself, from the lethal military tools to medium for social displays and athletic discipline. Ancient beginnings. The earliest known description of formal sword-based match dates back to 1190 BC in Egypt, found on temple reliefs. While these early bouts were likely tied to military training and ritual combats rather than sport, they were established as a concept of structural swordplay. The medieval tournaments, 11th to 16th century. Emerging from northern France, the tournaments begin with a melee, a chaotic ground battle that meant to train knights for war. Over time, these evolutions into more of a controlled spectator-focused spectacle of jousting and individual combat. These events were essential social foundation, often held in broad lands to encompass peace between land-owning aristocrats. The shift to fencing. 14th and 15th century. Fencing as a distinct skill became a shift from pure combat preparation towards structured schooling. German fencing guilds were established in 1478 and were among the first to formalize instruction. 18th century, the sporting century emerges. The modern concept of fencing as a refined athletic pursuit is largely credited to the mid-18th century. Standardized in the Olympics from 1880 to 1896. In the context of the Yonan Bo Saga, the sword challenge draws effectively from historical roots that combat the physical disorientation, the spinning, the time-based pressure water clock. This mirrors historical tournaments, increasing complexity to make it safer sport out of lethal skill, forcing the competitors to focus on precision and control rather than brute force. The Gong song is a performance based test of rhythm and cultural literacy. It requires the participant to memorize specific auditory sequences associated with their geographic and emphasizing a connection to the land and tradition. Challengers had to correctly perform a long, difficult battle gong song on four different size gongs. The winner was the person who performed the long, difficult song correctly in the shortest amount of time. This Yonan Bo and Kinolo did place at the top, but they were among the few who finished the song properly. This challenge echoes one of the most sophisticated cultural systems in history, the rites and music. System of ancient Chinese and in ancient China, music and rituals were the twin pillars of governance. Rituals created order and defined social hierarchy, while music smoothed the difference to create harmony. The different social rankings had different official songs to perform, and the participants' ability to move in sync with the melodic demonstrated the cultural and respect for the social order. The archery contest, a traditional marksman competition representing the pinnacle of skill. This game serves as a metaphor for divine favor and ultimate mastery. This was Yanambo's most successful event. He won the competition by hitting a bullseye, and then he split his first and second arrows with the subsequent shots. Archery as a formal competition has roots that stretch back much further than modern organized sports, evolving from its necessity in hunting and warfare. While the sports of archery, as we recognize it today, took shape in Europe during the late 16th century, its origins as a competitive display are ancient. Ancient origins. China, Zhou Dynasty, 1046 to 256 BC. One of the earliest documented instances of archery as a formal organized sports occurred during the Zhou Dynasty. Archery's tournaments were held at the royal court, often accompanied by music and performed with strict etiquette. This transition established archery not just as a combat skill, but as a discipline of characters and social refinement. Confucius famously noted, "The archer who misses the center of the target does not blame the winner. He seeks the cause of the failure within himself." The focus was never just on hitting the mark, but on grace, posture, and internal composition of the archer. Mythological traditions. Archery competition appears in a foundational literature of many cultures as a test of status and divine favor. Famous examples include the competition in Homer's Odyssey. Development into modern sports. Finburg, England, 1583. The first large-scale organized archery competition that resembled modern tournaments was held in Finsburg, England. It drew approximately 3,000 spectators, marking a transitional point where archery became a shift from military requirements to a popular recreational activity. Archers survived as a sport was largely driven by aristocrats during the 18th and 19th century, particularly in Britain. This period saw the formalization of rules, the creation of archery societies, and transitions towards the target based competition we see in Olympic Games today. This race represents a messenger run, required to maintain communication between distant and isolated settlements. Kino Low signed them up for this term based on the racing event. The marathon, as both a legendary tale and modern athletics events, originated from ancient Greece and the Battle of Marathon in 1490 BC. The mythical origins. The story centers on Greek messengers, according to the legend, after the Greek defends the Persian and the Battle of Marathon. Modern sporting origins. The marathon as an organized race was a 19th century invention designed to provide the first modern Olympic Games with grand historical spectacles. In 1896 Athens, the first modern marathon was held during the inauguration modern Olympic events in Athens. This was another weapon-based competition that Kino Low signed them up for. Spear throwing holds a unique place in human history, evolving from fundamental survival necessary to highly technical competitive sports. The history can be split into two main branches: the ancient mechanical throwers and the athletic javelin tradition. Prehistoric era, mechanical inventions. Before the javelin became an athletic event, it was primary technology of human survival. The atlatl, 30,000 years ago, one of the oldest mechanical inventions in human history. The atlatl, a level spear thrower, allowed early humans to launch spears with significant greater velocity, range, and accuracy. It was used by hunter gatherers across almost every continent to take down megafauna like mammoths and bison. Under modern sports, this was purely survival based. The device acted as extension of an arm, providing a mechanical advantage needed to pierce thick hides of large games from a safe distance. Ancient Greece, spear throwing as a formal organized competition traced its roots to ancient Greek games 708 BC. The javelin was core component of the ancient pantheon, alongside running, the discus, the long jump, and wrestling. Objectives. Ancient competitors often featured two distinct formats: throwing for distance and throwing for accuracy by hitting a target. The modern sports era of javelin throwing, 1870s to 1880. The competition was revived in Germany and Sweden. Initially used simple poles before standardizing into the athletic events we recognize today. The harder competition is a major event of the week. The participants' applicants of survival skills and contest involve a wrangling of livestock. The prologue of Book 1 demonstrates the dangers and cheating associated with this game, reflects the high stakes of animal husbandry in a harsh environment, where resources like grains are precious. Two guards, Kazu and Rotu, attempt to treat at this game by laying out grains early to lure Dorcas into a specific area before the event officially begins. Origins: a Neolithical orga- arga- archaeological revolution, easy for me to say, 10,000 BC. This is the most practical game once humans domesticated livestock, sheep, goats, and cattle. The ability to move the herd efficiently without losing animals became the most valuable skill a person could have. While part of the all hunts day tradition, the hunt itself was treated as a competitive where the person returning with the best haul earned the title of best hunter, acting as a crown jewel of the week. This competition elevates basic survival to social hierarchy, rewarding the individual who most successfully provides for the community. The concept of the Great Hunt as a competitive social ritual is as old as human society itself. It bridges the gap between basic survival and performance demonstration of power, virtue, and status. The origins of a competing hunting. Historically, hunting competitions didn't originate on one specific date, but rather evolved as societies moved from foragers to straightforward power structures. For early humans, the hunt was communal, necessary. Competition was inherently tied to prestige. Among early hunter gatherers, the best hunter earned the highest social standing, not just because they provided food, but because their skills were ensured the group's survival. This established the foundational link between hunting prowess and community leadership. Best hunter as civic title. The title earned is deeply rooted in historical traditions in ancient cultures. The best hunter wasn't just someone who killed the most. They were often the person who most successfully navigated the spiritual contract with the land, offering sacrifices, observing ritual taboos and traditions, and demonstrating the discipline to follow hunting etiquette. These activities are fundamentally archaic sports. They didn't originate in a specific year or location because they are direct refinements of basic human labor. In the world building for the Yonan Bo Saga, these games represent the tradition from Unitarian survival, doing it to live, to ceremonial performances, doing it to honor the goddess's social standing. Here is the natural history of the activities as organized competitions. Wall building. Origins. Ancient Near East Mesopotamia, roughly 9000 to 4000 BC. Nature. While we think of walls as static, the competition of building them originates when the city as city states. The game was a proxy for civilization defense and engineering capability. In lore, treating this as a game shows the society values stability and order above all else. A wall building contest is a metaphor for social preservation. The person who can build the fastest and strongest is the person who is fit to rule. Net fishing, origins Mesolithic period 8000 BC or earlier. Archaeological evidence of earlier weighted nets using stones exists globally. It became competitive when coastal societies began ranking best fishermen based on the sustainability of the haul and the complexity of the knots used. In lore, fishing with nets in a collective effort. It emphasizes the need for synchronized cooperative action. Wrestling. Origins Sumeria, ancient Egypt, 3000 BCE. The earliest descriptions found in Egypt show almost every conceivable wrestling hold used in modern time. It originated as a hand to hand combat training, later sanitized into ritual sport. In lore, the wrestling is a ultimate test of truth and a weaponless match. There is no equipment to fail and nowhere to hide. The rope pulling contest, tug of war. Origins Ancient Egypt, Burma, and India, 2000 to 500 BCE. Historically, this was often a fertility or a weather ritual. In many ancient cultures, it was performed during a harvest feast to pull the sun towards the earth or ensure a good rainfall. In lore, the theological battle where two sides are pulling for the favor of the goddess or the prosperity of the coming season. And this is where we'll wrap it up today. I hope you've enjoyed pulling back the curtain and learning how I applied our real world sporting events to the world of Yonan Bo in a way to provide the reader with a sense of a lived in society. So, which of these games would you sign up for? I would love to hear. Leave a note in the comment below. I hope you are enjoying the World Cup festivities. And as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye now.